Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so honored to have back on the show award-winning country music singer, songwriter, entertainer. He does it all. And a friend of mine, Brett Kissel, good to have you back on the show.
Well, thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. I loved getting a chance to talk right before the cameras were turned on and really catch up in such a great way. And now we get to do it with everybody watching. It's really cool.
Well, you know, and it's always fun keeping up with you on social media and the web because, I mean, you are a busy guy. Besides being a family man, you know, with your wife and 4 kids and everything, songwriting, touring, you're like the Garth Brooks of Canada.
Wow.
You know, I got, you know, I mean, 22 CCMA Awards, am I right?
It's extremely kind of you to say, but there really is and will ever only be one Garth Brooks. I mean,
and wait a minute, and you toured with him.
I
Brad
did get a
Paisley.
chance, yes. but here's the thing: when you have somebody as extraordinary as Garth,
Right.
I've learned so much from him. And my band will say that they see a lot of the isms or the things in which he does to engage and connect with his audience that I've since adopted and brought into the live show as well. But the more that I think about it, and you're not the first person to say that Garth Brooks of Canada, but
I thought I coined that.
Which is very, no, you did coin it, and I think people stole it from you. But it's an amazing compliment, but I realized that, like, Garth he's a unicorn to me. Mm-hmm. He's the greatest, he's a legend, he's larger than life. Right. So those things, great, legend, larger than life, I haven't really achieved that.
I don't know, but we were talking earlier too, Brett, and what I admire about you is that achieving that balance between living here in Nashville and going back to Canada, and obviously mining both areas, whether it be for songs, and obviously you've got this huge project you have to tell us about coming out in January, but also one of the other things I admire about you is that you don't mind integrating guests that some others might not, such as 98 Degrees.
Well, 98 Degrees in that particular collaboration, I think really comes off the heels of some other really extraordinary collabs that I've done over the last several years, with Nelly joining me in a song, She Drives Me Crazy. Dave Mustaine, we talked about, from Megadeth, the frontman, but the guy loves country music, and he and I did a song together on a previous record. So a lot of people, I think, see that this is part of my path.
Right.
And the collaboration with 98 Degrees was so fun and so special because these guys do love country. They do love Nashville. And you and I think, would both agree that country music in general as a genre is the most diverse and the most welcoming genre, where you can have Kenny Chesney and Pink, you can have Backstreet Boys and FGL, you can have Julia Michaels and Keith Urban, Ray Charles and Willie Nelson. So why not Brett Kissel and 98 Degrees, I thought.
Well, and what I like about it too, though, to me, when I listen to the songs and love the song with Nelly, and obviously with 98 Degrees it's done so well, it's an easy fit. Sometimes, and not knocking any artist or calling anybody out, but sometimes it feels like a forced fit. Yeah. And with your songs, with your songwriting and performance, they meld, and everybody seems comfortable.
Well, a few months ago, we got to play on the Canadian Country Music Awards together for the first time to play that song live. I was also able to go and join them in Turks and Caicos when they played a show for their fans. And so we just all sat down and understood that we all come from different walks of life. I'm deep-rooted in country, they're deep-rooted in pop and R&B, yet we were able to enjoy what this song really was. And it's a timeless topic and ain't the same. And it really talks about all of the things in life that are really great, but they're definitely made better when you have the person with you that you love. So they came at it in their verse from their perspective. I came at it from my perspective. And I never wrote the song as a duet.
Right.
Yet it turned out to be a duet, and it turned out to be a really special collab that I'll never forget as long as I live.
Well, and I want to talk about this new project, and I know you can't give too much away, but
for you, Eric, I'm probably going to spill a lot more beans than my publicity team's going to let me. But
yeah, they're going no. But what an exciting time for you, and seeing the evolution of your music career, and obviously with your background, doing so many great things up in Canada, coming to Nashville, but also making your path here. And now you've got this incredible 4-album project coming out in January.
Well, the most exciting thing about this extravagant project is understanding that in the business, especially the American country music business, I've been so lucky to have a really great thing going on in Canada, but here in the United States, as I work very hard to build, it's important to find your lane. And it's important to do things in a different way. Not doing it different just to be different, but to understand who you really are. And a lot of people would ask me on a regular basis, tell me about yourself, tell me about the things that you love, whether you, Brett Kissel, the human being, or Brett Kissel, the artist. And the way that I could describe it is that I've got a very special internal compass. And that compass points, interestingly, in many different directions on any given day. So that really gave me food for thought to create an album. And it was just going to be an album that would talk about the four needles of the compass, northeast, southwest, and the four pieces of me. But as it morphed and as it started to build, I realized that what would be very unique and extremely different, and I think get a lot of attention, is to do 4 albums each pointing in their own direction, northeast, southwest. So I'd like to describe the albums if you have the time and if you'll let me, as my publicist and the team is like, but this is kind of an exclusive for you to say that each album and the direction that they point north is for Canada. Those are the great shows that I've done in my homeland. So it's a live record. It's a greatest hits album, basically, of all the songs I've released and my favorites and the live versions, whether it be Drink About Me live from Toronto or Airwaves live from Montreal or started with a song from Edmonton or Calgary. Then the East record is the singer-songwriter storytelling side of me that I'm really proud of, that is really, I've been building upon as I get older and have more experiences. So Love and Loss and Songs About the Land is in the East album. The South album is pointed directly at, you guessed it, Nashville, Tennessee. So that is the typical album that you and I would have a conversation about that's hit-driven, it's for radio, it's your ear candy, it's everything that is great about Nashville today. All of those bells and whistles are put into that record. But then you have the West, which is country and Western. And that Western record I'm really proud of because it talks about my roots, oil, cattle, the land, the Western lifestyle that I grew up living and now get to live again with my children having been able to buy the family farm. So it's really, really cool to have those 4 sides come together in a massive project.
That is so exciting, and I couldn't help but thinking, and you and I always bounce ideas to where maybe you need to partner with Bass Pro Shop, and then if you get the 4 albums, you also get a compass that is, etched with your name or album,
Your marketing abilities is something like, I'm so happy that you've got this great show on the network, but if you ever choose that you want to go into artist management or marketing services from a record label, let's start one together.
Let's do it.
Because like someone at Warner or Capitol or Sony is probably going to want your services because that's a great idea.
Oh my gosh, but what a great opportunity for you, because seeing you grow and certainly, with your social media and everything, seeing you and the kids on the farm. And I think that's what's kept you so grounded, with your family in Canada, but also you've created a family and a group and a core here in Nashville.
Very much so, and I love the family in Nashville, and they're all friends that have become family. They're people that have become, aunties and uncles as a Canadianism, but aunts and uncles to our children, so that when we come down here, we see so many great friends. We get an opportunity for me, to write songs during the day with my buddies, and then we all get together for dinner after, and that is one of the most special things that my kids can enjoy. And I think we're teaching them a lot of great lessons about the value of friendship, value of collaboration, and really how awesome this music business can be and how lucky we all are.
Well, and once again, too, I got to brag on you some, Brett, to where you've created a fan base, obviously sold out shows all over Canada, but now traveling through the United States, you're getting the same kind of following here. And, and we were talking about, some of the incredible legends that you've opened for, such as Garth and Brad Paisley. And we were talking about Loretta Lynn, that passed away, and, and your interactions with her, and even you got to share the Dolly story too. But it's like, but you've rubbed shoulders with legends, and you've kind of embraced these things as part of your own songwriting and music and entertainment.
Well, very much so, and the legends that have paved the way for a guy like me to come down here to Nashville and try my very best to make it in the business. I'm so grateful that I'm able to look at these incredible superstars and learn from them the things that worked well, or if you have the one-on-one conversations, they'll share with you the things that didn't work well and the potholes and to stay away from, or the people that are waiting and the snakes in this business, which there can be a few, to try to keep it in between the ditches.
Right.
Dolly Parton, I was very, very lucky to win some Canadian Country Awards, and she had left me a voicemail. It was through a friend of a friend who ended up getting my number. But one of my biggest regrets, Eric, is that I didn't pick up the phone because it said private name, private number. So I'm not going to answer it. I thought it might be Canada Revenue Agency or the IRS saying you haven't paid your taxes, so I'm not going to answer it.
Oh, my
and then I
goodness.
listened to the voicemail. It says, "Hey Brett, this is Dolly Parton, and I just want to congratulate you on all those country music awards." And because it's a private name, I couldn't even call her back.
Right.
So I mean, Dolly, if you're watching, I thank you for that. I wish I could do that, but stories with her, or I got to open for Loretta Lynn on her final tour in Canada back in 2012, and when she passed away, obviously a while ago now. But I miss her a lot, and all of these great legends. But I'm very, very lucky to have been able to rub shoulders and learn a lot. Because in any genre, you talk about Garth, you talk about Dolly or Loretta, Brad Paisley, they have so much respect across the board and around the world. And sometimes I can't believe I smoked a cigar with Brad Paisley. I had a Bud Light with Garth once upon a time. Like this is pretty cool stuff.
Amazing times. I got to bring up also, because we couldn't do a show with you and I without talking about this, the main guitar that you used on the upcoming album. Let's talk about this little story for a minute. So
this 1957 J45 has really changed my life. And it's interesting that a piece of wood and 6 strings can change a guy's life, but it really has, because of what the guitar represents, the sound, the quality, the history of it. My grandpa Bear gives me a call, this is a few years ago, and one of his groomsmen that stood up at his wedding in 1960 is sick in the hospital, an older gentleman by the name of Steve Bertinick. And Steve calls up my grandpa Bear and says, "I got an old guitar, it's in the garage, and I want you to buy it from me. I want you to give it to your grandson. Is he still playing country music or trying to make it?" My grandpa's like, "Yes, he's still in the business." "Well, I want you to buy it from me. I'll sell it to you for $500 and get it to your grandson." So grandpa calls me and he says, "It sounds like it's really, really old, so I don't know if it's any good." And I'm like, no, grandpa, you don't understand. If it's really, really old, there's a chance it could be really, really good.
Right.
So grandpa, I fly up to Canada and I meet up with my grandpa, and I look at this guitar and I open up the case, and you could tell there could be something here because the case is old. I open it up and oh my God, it's an old school Gibson. And the serial number was this, J45. That's it, J45. There's no serial number. So I took it to Carter's Vintage here in Nashville, and I chatted with the guy, and I didn't really want an appraisal, but he asked me, "How much did you pay for the guitar?" And I said, I'll tell you, but I want you to tell me what you think it's worth. He says, "Probably about 15. And I'm like, 1,500? He says, no, about 50,000. I called my grandpa and I said, "This is the best gift you ever gave me, Grandpa Bear." So
how amazing.
I love it.
Well, and also I think that, the vintage guitars like that, they've been played, they've been loved, the wood is dried out. It's always what I call the Stradivarius effect. And then it's like, they just become a part of you.
They really do.
And what a great instrument to use on this new album.
It is, and I think it brought the album to life. All of the songs about, love and loss and heartache, that's what an old Gibson needs to be. You need to play those kind of songs.
Yeah.
When we did the Western side of the record and we did some Western swing and everything, well, that guitar fit perfectly with that. And then, how crazy is it, as a guitar from 1957 that's 65 years old.
Right.
It still sounds great when you're playing new country today. I cannot believe how lucky I am to have that instrument.
What a blessing. Well, and I got to bring up also, obviously, with the new albums coming out, what's the plan on the big tour?
Well, there's going to be a lot of dates north of the border in Canada. With the way that our career has gone, we know that we're going to tour this album in a big way and go from coast to coast. As far as the United States is concerned, I'm so lucky to have such a great agency in WME. A friend of mine, Nate Town, signed me early. This is 8-10 years ago to WME, and I'm so grateful that we're finally in a position now to get some opening slots and to do some great casinos with some great legends.
Wow.
And to go out and play some extraordinary festivals next summer. So if you go to brettkissel.com, whether they're on the website now or they'll be on the website after Christmas, 2023 really could be my best year yet.
Well, and much like hockey, because I know that you have to split your time hockey-wise
Yes.
between Canada and Nashville Predators, and it's like you got to work those things. I watch. I see you there.
So my buddy Brett Wilson is a part owner of the Predators, and he says you're allowed to have a home team and an away team. My home team is the Edmonton Oilers. My away team, when the Oilers ain't playing, is the Nashville Predators. And I think they've got a very, very exciting season ahead.
You may have to do another hockey song. I mean, that may be in the making.
Well, Hockey Please Come Back was perfect in 2012 during the lockout. So depends on whether Gary Bettman and the players can get along. If there's another lockout, I'll probably write another
I
song.
also like it how some of your songs require a video that takes you to the beach.
Very much.
How is that just coincidence?
No, that's very strategic, because why do a video in the cold, snowy North Canada when you have an opportunity to film on the Bahamas or in Hollywood or Florida or Mexico? That's
a tough job.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thinking on that one.
So that's good planning.
You know what? And we might need a cameo from you, and that way you can write off the trip, and we can. I'm learning IRS techniques and CRA techniques. It's a write-off if you're working.
There we go. I can just carry the guitar around.
100% you could. You're a part of our crew.
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to make sure, too, that our viewers keep up with you on social media, because not only do you keep up with your concerts and your songwriting, but also with your family. And I always enjoy seeing the pics of you and your wife and your kids.
So Instagram is a great platform for us, and Facebook and Twitter, of course, but TikTok is something I've had so much fun with since getting on earlier this year. And I don't know, we might be close to 50,000 followers by now. I don't know, but it's as much about me and as it is about just being a goofball on TikTok. So
you have a good time.
My personality comes out more on TikTok than I think any other platform.
So you may be on the TikTok chart soon.
You know what? If it wasn't for you, I didn't know that TikTok had a chart. So yeah, you never know.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure that our viewers point your musical compass towards the new albums coming out from Brett Kissel. There's going to be 4 different and incredible albums, big tour. You're going to see music videos, and also hopefully that cool guitar. Brett, it's so great having you on the show.
Thanks, Eric. I just love spending time with you. Thank you.
Be sure and follow him and check out these new albums and see him live.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of a Bobby Bones Show.